Ladies and gentlemen who would like to have sexual coital relations with two women at the same time. Andy here, author of the best... Nay. I was going to say the best Tinder guide on the internet, but you know what? The best Tinder guide in the universe. This is the Killer and the Loser show. Let's fucking go. Anything to add there, madam? I am joined, of course, by my wife.
Well, we're not married and we're not getting married.
Fuck you, I'm not marrying you, you fucking whore. Should we talk about why... And you're not a whore, I love you very much. Should we talk about why I don't want to get married?
I feel like we did talk about it.
Because marriage is gay.
Long time ago.
Marriage is very gay. Because I see gay people getting married now. The gays have co-opted marriage.
Mm-hmm.
They're turning I told you they put stuff in the water to make the frogs gay and to make us gay.
I met a gay
Alex
guy
James
at my
will be proud.
gym. New guy at my gym the other day.
Gay people aren't real.
Already had a divorce. Like when was it legalized? That was quick. Like,
that is pretty impressive. Yeah. Anyway.
The
reason I don't actually want to get married. I love gay people. I support the puffs. The reason I don't want to get married is because I don't want to. So let's get back on topic. What to expect from your first threesome. So we thought we'd freestyle a little video here. You can tell this is raw, unfucking scripted. And we're going to talk about what it's like to have a fucking threesome. Because too many of you pussies say, oh, I'd love to have threesomes like you, Andy, but oh my God, I'm so scared I can't do it. I'm not that guy. Which is another way of saying, like, you're scared. You have fear. Run towards it. Have a fucking threesome. What can you expect from your first threesome? What were you going to say, young lady?
I was just going to say, whether it's a threesome or another goal, I think some people just label a lot of things as too lofty or too unrealistic.
So fucking retarded. They're like,
just
I can't do that. That's not me.
Random things. And it's like...
Yeah, it's arbitrary.
If you think about it, like, why?
Yeah.
Why
if you can
can't
have
you...
sex,
Yeah.
if you've had sex with... Let's say if you've had sex with 5 women, you're capable of having a threesome. If you've had sex with 10 women, why haven't you already done it? And if you've had sex with 20 women, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you should be having threesomes. Or you could be having threesomes. So, how do you have a threesome? Well, it's not like I haven't covered that in 50 other videos already, but here you go. I'll cover it once again. I'm being very antagonistic with my audience right now, aren't I?
You're usually antagonistic with your
That's
audience.
True. That's true. I love you guys. So, if you have 2 girls that you're already sleeping with, just say to both of them, have you ever fooled around with a girl before or thought about it? And if they both say yes, then you show them each other's pictures. You meet up, you say, hey, let's all meet up for some wine. You meet up at your place, have some wine. One thing leads to another. And when I say one thing leads to another, we'll talk about how to actually start the threesome in a second. But spoiler alert, it's about the same as how you start normal sex. And then you go for it. You can also go on your Tinder and specifically look for, if you have a bisexual girl that you're already sleeping with, you can specifically look for other girls who are bisexual. You just mention it in your first message or your second message to them. You say, have you ever fooled around with another girl or thought about it? There's a girl that I'm seeing. Do you want to, meet up and blah, blah, blah. You go from there. It doesn't matter what you say. It literally doesn't have to be perfect. You can also get your girl to, like you have done. And one of my coaching clients is doing this as well. You get her to set up her Tinder and have on her Tinder, I'm in an open relationship, and then she basically matches with other girls and messages them and says, I'm seeing this guy. He's teaching me about my body and sex and blah, blah, blah. Have you ever have you ever had a threesome? Like, would you like to try it? Basically that, and go from there. You can also ask every girl that you sleep with. I tell everyone to do this if you want to have a threesome. Ask every girl you sleep with, do you have any friends that you've ever wanted to fool around with or do something, or you have fooled around or something like that? I asked
Female
you
friends.
that. Yeah. And you said, yeah, hey, my best friend. And that was how I had my first threesome. How both of us had our first threesomes.
I know. It's like my autism. You would call it autism kicking in. But you always say it was my best. She wasn't my best friend. But that's fine. I know you don't care. She was
one of your fucking friends.
She was a friend of mine.
She was hot. That's all that matters.
She was attractive.
She was hot. She had like big tits. She was like tiny with big tits. She was like, her tits were way too big for that body. She was like really small, like pretty fucking lean. And like the tits were like as big. Like I'm going to say 7 times bigger than they were like quadruple fucking G's, boy.
We went
and she was my
lingerie
G.
shopping. They're double
so,
G's.
Yeah, that's hot. Everyone right now is like loving this. So
anyway,
those are some ways that you can have threesomes. The main gist of it is decide that you actually want a threesome and make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have to sit here and tell you exactly how to have threesomes. I'm not your fucking dad. Despite the fact that some of you call me daddy, I'm not your father. Like, you can go and figure out how to have a threesome. Dad doesn't need to tell you how to have a threesome. Just go and do it. But what you haven't done is given yourself permission to do it. The second you give yourself permission to go for it and say, why should Andy have it but not me? Which is a very good question to ask. And the answer is, there's no reason except that you're scared. I was fucking terrified. I was so terrified, especially when you and I had that first threesome with your friend, with your best friend, with the quadruple F cups. I paced around my apartment for like 8 hours, cleaning the entire apartment, just trying to kill time. I was like fucking shaking. You even got drunk beforehand because you were nervous.
Yeah, at that
She
point in
was
my
terrified.
life, I was already very nervous about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's not like you won't be terrified. Now, as for the actual threesome itself, what to expect. So the three of you are probably going to meet up. Maybe you walk to a liquor store or something and buy some wine like we did. I recommend that. That's an easy way to do it so you're not nervous. You can go for a walk together. You can meet in public and, go to the liquor store, buy something, walk back to your apartment. All three of you are going to be nervous as fuck. Really fucking nervous. And as nervous as you will be, it will make you feel a little better if you remember that the girls are going to be way more nervous than you, especially if they haven't had a threesome or haven't fooled around with another girl. Because if they haven't fooled around with another girl, now there's two things for them to be nervous about: a threesome and fooling around with the girl, like having sex with the girl for the first time ever. That's fucking intimidating. So as nervous as you might be, they're probably going to be more nervous. And even if they've had a threesome, girls, just generally speaking, are more nervous than guys. As much as you think you're nervous, she's even more nervous. So go for a little walk. You'll be nervous. The conversation doesn't matter at all. Get your bottle of wine, go back to your place, have a fucking drink or two. All of you will relax a little bit. How do you start a threesome? Tell us some super secret, amazing techniques. How does a smooth player like yourself start a threesome?
We like to do it just where like one of us will kiss the girl.
Amazing. Look at that smooth techniques. It's almost like the exact same techniques as having a normal sexual experience. And it is. It really is. Whatever you would do in a normal sexual experience, just do that. Just start kissing one of them and then kiss the other one. Or my favorite thing to do is tell both of them, you guys should kiss. And they will. Every girl will obey you when you tell them you guys should kiss, because they're nervous too and they want to break the tension, and you've just given them the perfect excuse to get on with it so that you don't all have to sit there nervously. Yeah. You can give one of them a massage. You can start playing with one of their legs. You can say to one of them, have you ever kissed a girl? And she'll probably be like, no. And then you'll be like, okay, go, try. You can take their hand and put it on the other girl's nipples. You can like take the lead yourself. So you kiss one of the girls and then you turn to the other girl and say, okay, now you do what I just did. And like you take the lead and get her to do what you're doing. The point is, it really doesn't matter how you start the threesome. It's one of those questions that people come up because you're trying to procrastinate. You're trying to put off actually doing this. You're trying to make it more complicated than it really is so that you can say, oh, I haven't learned enough yet. I can't do a threesome. I'm going to ask Andy all these dumbass questions. I shouldn't say dumbass. All these like questions that don't matter, that I know don't really matter. Because the more difficult I can make this appear, the more complex I can make this appear, the more excuses I have for not having a threesome. I can say like, well, I haven't learned, I don't know what to do yet. Andy's only told me a couple of answers yet. I need 100 answers before I can even think about it. It's like, no, you don't. Jump in there. You're going to do a bad job. You're going to be nervous. Maybe you'll fucking get performance anxiety because this is terrifying to you. What does any of that matter? It doesn't matter. I had all of that shit. I think the thing that separates me and anyone else who has made it or who is happy with their life, anyone else who's achieved goals, the thing that separates us from anyone who hasn't is we did things before we felt ready. We were terrified and we still did it anyway. We didn't wait for someone to give us permission to do it, because no one will. Well, I'm here giving it to you, but you have to give yourself permission. Yeah,
for most goals, I think you won't feel ready, particularly if it's something that you find particularly scary or challenging. Yeah. You never will. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, like why are you waiting till you're ready? That could never come. That might come. Like, there is a possibility that you ask me 500 questions about threesomes and I answer them all, and then you go, okay, I've learned all I need to know, time to do it. But what usually happens is you'll ask me 300 questions, I'll answer them all, and then you'll go, well, shit, I don't actually have any more questions. Fuck, I got to do this. Fuck, procrastinate. And Andy, what was it you said about like how to start a threesome again? And I'll be like, I already answered that question. And then you'll go, yeah, you're right. Ha, you're right. But like, what kind of girl should I ask to have a threesome with? And you're like, what does that matter? Go have a threesome. Oh, yeah, but what if she's bi-curious but not bisexual? Like, what should I do then? And it's like, none of this shit matters. And by the way, I've coached guys on having threesomes, and they do all this stuff. They ask me dumb questions for months, and I keep telling them, go out and fucking do this. And then finally they just take the plunge and they're like, man, why did I think that was a big deal? It's just a threesome. It's just 2 girls at once. Like, I was already fucking plenty of girls, or I already had sex with a few girls. All I had to do was just get 2 of them in the same room, and I happened to be there as well. It's not this big thing. So you started the threesome. You're kissing, you're making out, you're in the bedroom, whatever you're doing. In terms of different dynamics and stuff that you can play with, we've talked about this in the past, so we won't cover it like in super depth, but I think the easiest thing for you as the guy is to just pick one of the, because you're probably going to be nervous as the guy. Pick one of the girls and you and the other girl focus on her for a little bit. That takes most of the pressure off you. It takes most of the pressure off the girl who's receiving the pleasure, because all she has to do is just lie there and enjoy. And it takes most of the pressure off the other girl, because she just does whatever you're doing. She'll just follow your lead. You don't even have to really tell her what to do. She'll just try some shit while you're doing some shit. That's probably the easiest dynamic. And then after like however much time, whatever you want, 20 minutes, switch. And just pick the other girl and make her the center of attention. Get her to lie down. You make out with her while the other girl plays with her pussy. Or you fuck her while the other girl sits on her face. Or the 2 of them can make out while you fuck one of them. Whatever it is you want to do, it really doesn't matter. And that also removes a lot of the pressure when you have like performance anxiety, which you might get. I did the first time. Like, I could still get it up, but like the first 20 minutes I was really nervous and I was like, shit, what if my dick doesn't work? And it was like not fully hard until like 20 minutes in. So if you have that performance anxiety, focusing on one of the girls and just going down on her, or watching the 2 girls make out, whatever it is, like just enjoying and being in the moment, that takes away a lot of the pressure to have to like have my dick hard so I can fuck 2 girls at once. That's like twice as much anxiety as just fucking one girl.
Yeah. Ultimately, it basically is just like having sex like you normally would with another person. And there happens to be another person there. So you're like, okay, well, how can I get them involved? Like, I'm having sex with someone and there's another person. Okay, like, what can they do? Like, how can we all kind of interact?
Yeah. Rather than what some guys go into it with this, like, pressure that you put on yourself where you go, how do I please 2 women at once? It's like, no, dickhead, no one said you're only one man. How can you please 2 women at once? Which, by the way, most of the time when we have sex, I'm not pleasing both of you at once. We've tried it. It's very hard. Like, if I'm fucking one of you and then trying to finger the other one of you, it's very distracting. Like, it's actually pretty hard to get the rhythm right and to concentrate on making both of you feel good. It's almost impossible. And then I'm getting distracted too because it feels good for me. Your mission isn't to please both of them at the same time, because that's damn near, it's difficult. It's doable, sure, but it's very difficult, especially the first time. Your mission is to, like you said, have sex with one of them, and then the other person is just involved as well. And make sure she is involved. Don't just get her to sit off on the side. But you pick one girl, you focus on her, you do whatever you're going to do with her, and get the other girl to enjoy as well and to participate. And then you swap girls. That's the easiest way. And let them make out with each other and let them do some shit to each other as well, of course. But picking one and focusing on her is probably the easiest. And we wanted to keep this podcast just only talking about your experience with your first threesome. So we won't talk about like more advanced shit that you can do, just like the first threesome you have, I should say. I would also say I think most threesomes are slower than normal sex, because normal sex you can kind of just like you can have crazy rough sex, you can be passionate, you can just start fucking each other. But with a threesome, there's less of that because there is another person there, and it's almost like you need to keep them involved. Once you know what you're doing, you can do that. Yeah. But early on, it's more, you're constantly thinking of the third person and going like, oh, I got to make sure I want to make sure she's involved as well. Yeah. Like, I don't want to forget about her. It's like you're being more cognizant of the fact there's a third person there and that you don't want them to just be left out while you're fucking the shit out of this girl here. Yeah. So it's like the way you do that usually is you'll naturally find yourself going a lot slower. You just kind of will. Particularly
if it's going to be a first threesome. Yeah. We're assuming at least one of the girls isn't really experienced with what she's doing. So it's generally more exploratory for her as well.
It's very rare that both girls have had threesomes and both girls have played with other girls before. What will usually happen is one of them might have fooled around with a girl before, or maybe had a threesome and the other one won't have, or neither of them have done anything. That happens a lot too. If it's a girl that you've done this with quite a lot, like you and I have done this a bunch of times now, like too many times, you are obviously experienced, but most of the girls that we sleep with are not. So that's somewhat easier because then it's like you and I teaching her. But that's, again, more advanced stuff. Your first threesome is most likely going to be 3 people who are very fucking nervous. And so a big part of that is slowing it down, enjoying it, watching what it's like to watch 2 girls kiss, which, by the way, is like the hottest shit ever. I guess we can talk about that stuff. We haven't talked about like what you can actually expect from the first threesome in terms of how fun it is. It's crazy fun. It's like insanely fun. It's like porn on steroids. You're used to porn. I'm sure all of you horny bastards. This video is not getting monetized, by the way. I'm sure all you...
Yeah, I mean, we knew that.
All you horny bastards have watched lesbian porn, right? And you see the 2 girls kissing, and it's hot as fuck. You like lesbian porn.
Yeah.
It's like sexy. When you get to see that live in front of you, it's like it's a whole different ball game. Especially when you realize like these 2 girls are into me as well. Like you watch them making out and you'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then one or both of them will turn to you and start including you. And you're like, are you kidding me? Is this like real? Like I get to interact with this fantasy world now. This is like me. I'm part of this. It's fucking amazing. It's fucking sexy. There are so many things that you will do as well. Your first threesome, we won't even list them all because the best thing you can do is just try a bunch of different stuff and see what you like. But like, you know, having sex with a girl while the other one sits on her face is just like so fucking hot. Being able to kiss one girl while fucking another girl is so incredibly hot. All 3 of you trying to kiss at the same time is hot. Coming on both of their faces and then they kiss each other with your fucking cum. That's incredibly fucking sexy. There are so many things that you can do in a threesome that you obviously wouldn't do in a normal sexual encounter that make this like so much fun. And so I really want to focus on the idea of if this is your first threesome, just enjoy it. Just like try not to be in your head too much. You will be a little bit at the start, but just like slow it down and like remember that you can take your time. Don't rush it because it'll be etched into your memory. Every single thing you see will be so firmly etched into your memory because it's so hot that you'll want to slow it down so you can just like watch and enjoy. Like a lot of it is literally just watching and going like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like, and remembering that you made this happen. Like this happened because you took the lead. You weren't a little pussy. You didn't make excuses. You had a threesome.
Yeah. It really is just a case of like explore and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really want to underline that. Have fun. Like again, slow it down. Really fucking enjoy it. Really enjoy it. Because you earned it. Like, you definitely earned it. Unless 2 lesbian, bisexual girls fell out of the sky and landed on your penis in your face accidentally, you did earn it. So, take your time. Enjoy it. Threesomes are fun. Please don't make excuses. Please go out and have a fucking threesome. And then I guess we can say afterwards, you know, just cuddle for a bit. Ask them both how it was. Text them both afterwards. Tell them it was fun. All that good shit. Yeah. Threesomes are cool and everybody should have one. Everybody can have one, but most people just, I don't know. It's like you said, they build it up into this big thing where they say, that's not me. I can't do that. You have to be a player to do that. And it's like, well, then why could I do it? I wasn't a fucking player. Like, why could I have a threesome? Just because I asked. That's it. It's literally just because I asked you, do you have any girls that you've ever would fool around with? And you're like, well, my friend, maybe. And then I just said like, show me her picture. And she was hot. And I was like, you should invite her over. And then you did, and she said yes, and I was like, what the fuck, is this going to work? And then she comes over and we have some wine, and before you know, we're having a threesome, and I'm like, what the fuck, this is real. So ask for it, go out there, crush your goals, gentlemen.